Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Going to read through this full article. There's a link in the description. In essence, I'll just give you the quick heads up, but in essence, as a response to the horrific murder of toddler Star Hobson, who was 16 months old when she was murdered by her mother's partner, Savannah Brockhill, and the mother was no innocent party in the events. But in any case, in regards to in response to that horrific situation, Bradford Council has had some of their authority taken away from them. They lose control of children's services. There's been a new independent organisation put in place. It's owned by Bradford Council, but it's run independently, or it will be run independently. So we'll read through the article. I mean, in essence, a quick comment. I mean, it's positive from my point of view that some action has taken place. You know, if there are problems, if problems exist, then something needs to be done. And this is something. Whether or not it's the complete solution, whether or not it's flawed to some extent, I don't know. I've got no idea. But at the very least, it's encouraging to see that some action has been taken by authorities in order to, with the hope of improving children's services and the protection of children within the area moving forward. So, I mean, I take it as a positive thing. But let's look at the article. Bradford City Council has been stripped of control of its children's services following the murder of 16-month-old Star Hobson. The department has been heavily criticised for not doing more to protect the infant, who was killed by her mother's partner, absolute scumbag Savannah Brockhill, in September 2020. 5 different family members and friends raised concerns about Star's home life with the authority in the 8 months before she was beaten to death by the 28-year-old security guard. But each time, officials concluded that the youngster was safe living with her mother, Frankie Smith, and Brockhill. So, you know, family members of Star Hobson were very concerned about Star Hobson's safety and welfare. And they went to the authorities multiple times, 5 times, at least 5 times, over the course of 8 months, and absolutely no action was taken. Effectively, no effective action was taken. So, you know, that's why there's reason to make significant changes in how these issues are examined, dealt with, handled, etc., etc. The department will now be taken over by a specially created independent trust after a damning report was given to Education Secretary Nadeem Zahawi by Steve Walker, the government-appointed Children's Services Commissioner in Bradford. Mr. Zahawi said, "It's clear from the recommendations made by the Commissioner in Bradford that the Council needs support to improve, and so I'm pleased that Bradford Council have agreed to establish a new trust that will bring positive change for the Council and independent oversight that drives improvements." Okay, I mean, that's the term that I like. Driving improvements. I mean, that's what you need. I'm going to say this, I'm going to interject, and this might be offensive to some. I'm not a big fan of big government. I'm not I don't want to get overly political, but it does concern me when local councils are hugely expensive. They hire hundreds of staff, perhaps thousands of staff. Now, if everyone's doing a worthwhile job and everyone's working efficiently, great, then life will improve for the local community. But if there's a lot of inefficiency, if there's a lot of waste, if there's a lot of bad practices, and that's my general belief of local councils given my experience with them, then it's a heck of a lot of waste of taxpayers' money. So I'm not for the creation of new departments just for the sake of it. I'm against that. Having said that, if it's going to be managed properly and if it's going to be monitored, I can't think of the right terms, but if this new trust, independent trust, is going to have standards that it must adhere to, if it's going to be treated as if it was a part of the marketplace, and if it's not yielding results, if it's not yielding improvements in regards to the monitoring and ensuring safety of children and welfare of children, if it's not making improvements, then it ought to be disbanded, or replaced by something that will get improvements. I know I've gone on to a bit of a ramble there. I'm against throwing money to create new departments just for the sake of it. However, if it is going to be managed properly and if it is going to be effective, then I'm all for it, all over it. And that's the attitude that these organizations, these departments really must have. They must be improvement focused. They must be efficiency focused. And I just feel that a lot of these departments, government, local council departments, are not driven in any way, shape or form. They're just there to serve, to provide an income to the employees that are there for decades on end without necessarily contributing in any way, shape or form to the improvement of the local community. Anyway, there's enough of my rant there. Back to the article. This is an important moment for children and families in Bradford and for social workers and other professionals who want to create meaningful and effective relationships with them. The decision came 4 months after Mr. Walker began reviewing the department. Although he did not specifically look at failures related to Hobson's death, that is to come in another review, his report suggests that Labour-run authority had categorically failed to improve after being rated inadequate by Ofsted in 2018. He suggested future improvement was unlikely under the current delivery model. Okay, so this is kind of concerning and kind of positive. So, it's saying that there are mechanisms, which I'm not going to pretend to understand, but there are mechanisms in order to monitor the ongoing performance of these councils, if I understand correctly, of these departments, children's services departments or such. There are internal mechanisms in order to monitor them and to make sure that they are performing well. And so that's good. It's good that they have those mechanisms in place. It's in a way good that faults were recognized. However, it's extremely concerning to me that these faults were recognized and the if I understand correctly, this aspect of the council was rated as being inadequate as far back as 2018. Why has it taken until now for action to be taken? If it's deemed inadequate in 2018, why weren't steps put in place at that point? Why does it take the deaths of Star Hobson and others, Arthur Labinjo-Hughes as an example, who wasn't a resident of Bradford as far as I recall. No, he was in London, I believe. But in any case, why wasn't action taken sooner? I don't know. These government departments, again, I'm getting a little bit too political, more than I should on this channel. But they just get away with being inadequate. Oh, look, you guys are inadequate. Okay, fine. Well, we'll just carry on being inadequate for the next several years until some drastic action takes place, which probably will never be the case. My point is, these council departments just get away with it. There's no responsibility, there's no accountability, even when they're found to be at fault. I'm sick of it personally. And that's a big driving point from my political views. Back to the article. The new not-for-profit trust will be owned by the council but operate at arm's length under the control of an entirely independent chair and board of directors, which will be appointed by the government. Mr. Zahawi said, keeping vulnerable children safe from harm is non-negotiable. Where a council is not meeting its duty to do this, we will take action to protect children and put their needs first. Okay, great. I like those words, Mr. Zahawi, but it feels a little bit hollow to me when this is happening just in response to, the death of Star Hobson. Why wasn't this rhetoric in place and enforced previously? Back to the article. Responding to the announcement, Bradford City Council leader Susan Hinchcliffe acknowledged that the pace of improvement needs to quicken and said that the new trust would enable the authority to focus on delivering consistently high-quality care. Brockhill, the absolute scumbag, was jailed for life at Bradford Crown Court in December for murdering Star Hobson at their home in Keighley, West Yorkshire. The youngster bled to death after suffering catastrophic injuries during a beating by the one-time amateur boxer. Brockhill herself was ordered to serve a minimum of 25 years in prison, while Smith, the mother, was given an 8-year sentence. Fuck all, pardon my French, a disgusting low sentence for allowing her daughter's death. I mean, she was there. This wasn't one occurrence. Star Hobson suffered months of torture, physical torture, as well as mental torture, of course. The announcement that the authority would have its power removed came just hours after the delay was announced of a potentially explosive report in the contact the authority had with Star's family before her death. Not really understood that. But anyway, look, I know I've rambled quite a lot in this video. I mean, first of all, what a tragedy for Star Hobson, and regrettably, of course, it's not the only case. So seemingly, Bradford City Council have utterly failed in what it's there to do, in to protect children's services. Well, certainly, this one department of Bradford City Council has utterly failed. I mean, perhaps there's call for the staff to be held accountable. Negligence. Maybe they should be facing criminal charges. I mean, I don't know. How can it be the case that 5 different family members and friends raised concerns about Star Hobson's situation, her welfare, her safety, for nothing to occur? How the fuck can that happen? If the employees of Bradford City Council Children's Services Department are responsible of the upkeep and the safety and the welfare of the children, which they are, then I would think, and I don't know what I'm talking about, and this is just mere speculation from a layman, but I would think there's potentially room for them to be held accountable in some capacity, and I would personally be all for that.